Prepare to experience the strongest radio allowable by law. Secrets will be revealed. Myths dispelled. From the studio gym where excuses never apply, it's Superhuman Radio with your host, Carl Lenore.
This is Science for Humans with Dr. Jeff Galini.
Dr. J.
Hey, Carl.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Fantastic. So this is interesting. This was a question from a listener. I don't have his name. I apologize for that. And he was asking you about sushi because a lot of bodybuilder types, we love to get unique forms of protein, and there's nothing that tastes better than a pound of raw salmon or raw ahi tuna. So what's the deal on sushi, Dr. J?
And for people that, might not know what sushi is, most people do, but sushi is actually the dish where there's little small balls of rice and it's vinegar flavored, and then there's raw fish on top. Then you've got sashimi, which is actually, like you said, just the raw fish by itself. So normally when we talk about sushi, people think of just raw fish. But one of the things I wanted to say is it's not as healthy when you look at sushi, especially these rolls that have become Americanized. A typical California roll, as the crab stick and avocado, is 400 calories and contains 2 grams of salt. And then, when you add the cream cheese or the mayonnaise, it even increases the salt more. So if you're going and eating rolls thinking that it's very, very healthy for you, be aware that the rolls actually are very high calorie and are really heavy in salt. So you got to be careful about that.
Well, and a lot of guys and gals will eat sushi post-workout because they want the carbs. But let's be honest. While sushi positions itself as raw fish, it's really 80%, 90% rice. And,
right.
While the vinegar, the rice wine vinegar that they use, that traditional sushi rice is made with, may slow down or reduce the glycemic index of the rice, it's still just a lot of rice, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I mean, if you want to get carbs, that's a great way. So nothing wrong with it, but just be aware that it's not a healthy sometimes, especially with all that salt. But what I wanted to talk about is basically the sea in general. I don't know, as I was looking into this, there's a deadly thing that's actually happening out in the oceans. Part of the global warming, so to say, and the burning of fossil fuels is really affecting our oceans. There's something called bleaching that's happening out in the Great Reefs that essentially is killing the algae that leaves everything vulnerable to infection.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. And it's coming from the heat. The temperatures are rising in the oceans at a rate of 0.12 Celsius per decade. Now, you might think, well, that's no big deal. But that's triple the rate prior to that of 1976. So that is affecting. The other thing is, all the pollution, so to say, this CO2 comes down and it reacts with the seawater, and it's actually making the seawater more acidic. And this acidic environment is deadly to, the corals and the algae because they need to be more alkalized, calcium, what have you. So this acidic environment is causing, more bacteria, more pathogens to be in our waters. Hence, whatever's living in those, more pathogens. So again, we got to start to be a little bit more aware of that when it comes to seafood,
Well, but okay, so I know you and I are the same in this way. We like to try to find wild-caught fish, but and that's because the majority of farm fish is not any healthier. Where do we turn for fish? It's almost getting like, it almost seems like, at least with beef, you have the choice of sourcing out grass-fed beef from small local farms. But with fish, it's almost like the seas are polluted and the farms that they grow the fish in are polluted, and plus they have artificial diets that almost like fish is not even going to be worth eating anymore.
Well, the thing you got to look at now when you talk about, raw fish, sashimi, sushi, actually, farm fish is actually better. And the reason is that, they do control the environment. And one of the big problems with sushi are parasites.
Right.
So these occur in most of the fish, but in the controlled environments, they're saying that they're usually parasite-free. So although you have all the other issues, you may end up having parasite-free. But one thing I found out is, and this is interesting, the FDA has a requirement, but it's kind of a general rule, that fish coming into this country that are supposed to be eaten raw are supposed to be flash frozen.
Uh-huh.
And this flash freezing kills the parasite.
Yeah.
Now, flash freezing, according to the requirements, now again, this is a general rule. You don't have to, but you're supposed to. And this is where some of the issues arise. But it has to be frozen very quickly at minus 4 degrees Fahrenheit for 7 days or minus 31 degrees for 15 hours. Now, buying or catching raw fish and putting it in your freezer does not kill the parasites. Where most people think if you freeze something, it kills everything. No, it has to be flash frozen, meaning that in a flash, it is frozen. That's how cold it is. If you were to stick your hand in a flash freezer, it would freeze almost instantaneously.
Right.
So that kills those parasites that normally cause most of the problems when eating raw fish. But, if you have a sensitive system, even parasites that are dead, can still cause a lot of people the same type of aches and pains that you get, that you would think that you have food poisoning.
Really?
So very interesting. Yeah. There's people that have very sensitive stomachs. And, of course, if your digestive system is all whacked off, again, a dead worm is a dead worm. It still contains things that sometimes people have issues with. So how do we know, man? That was the thing that as I was looking into this, and you and I both like sushi.
Right.
I'm thinking, my guy has no idea whether that fish has been flash frozen. I mean, he'll just tell me, yes, it's safe, but that's not true because Japan, China, Asia, they're having the same issues that we're having in the United States. And it's interesting, I saw a poll that 2 out of 3 doctors who specialize in, gastronomic, whatever that science is or that doctrine is, the whole stomach, would not eat sushi because they know about these bacteria and stuff. The other thing you got to be aware of is, heavy metals and besides parasite, just bacteria itself. So my recommendation, again, is if you're buying raw fish, make sure that it's the sashimi grade. Sometimes they say sushi grade. What that means is it has been flash frozen. Now, there's no certification. No one has verified that, but that's what that means. If you just see fresh, raw fish, that has not gone through it, and the chances that there are parasites or bacteria are highly likely. So,
yeah, because they don't have to worry about it because they assume you're going to cook it, and you're going to cook it. The heat is going to kill any residual parasites or bacteria. But what about this trend now? So you go to a really, really great restaurant, and you order a nice ahi tuna steak, and all they do is sear it, and it's completely raw in the center, and it's really just barely warm in the center. Are those also putting people at risk? Because that's not sashimi grade fish they're starting out with.
Oh, no, it is. It is because, the restaurants that, pride themselves on we serve raw fish, if it has not been flash frozen, it's not safe. I mean, now that doesn't mean that every single fish has a parasite, but the chances are highly likely that there are. It's like you don't see chicken sushi. There's a reason. Because raw chicken contains high levels of salmonella. Cooking it thoroughly kills that bacteria. Raw beef, contains salmonella, E. coli. Cooking it kills it. So again, we like our red meat medium or medium rare. So you got to make sure that it's high quality beef, like the fish. But I think, again, you just have to be aware. I'm not going to go buy my sushi from some of these lower quality places
anymore. I know so many people who go and buy all their seafood from Costco. I bought, and you know what?
No.
That's got to be the worst quality fish in the world. I'm sorry to say it.
You can only have raw fish. I mean, it can only be unfrozen for a couple days. I mean, you have to eat it. So, again, I saw Costco had, they were calling it sushi grade tuna the other day, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. I mean, I would not eat that stuff raw. Who knows how long it's been there? And, of course, let's add the human ailment to it now. I mean, did they really wash their hands? I mean, my goodness. Restaurants and food processing places are not the cleanest of things, and you can contaminate your fish just from somebody not washing hands. And not to, get on Costco, but, they wear a little lab coat back there and they've got a hairnet on, but I don't see anybody wearing gloves or anything. I mean, the meat prep places usually aren't the cleanest. So, being that you're going to cook your chicken and fish, or chicken and red meat, but are they cutting up the fish in the same place they're cutting up the chicken? I don't know.
This reminds me, so when I first moved to Louisville some 25 years ago, my ex-wife was hired as a consultant by Brown Forman because they were getting into the fish farming business.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the small little pools of water that they were raising salmon in, overcrowded, and they were feeding them basically pellet food, like you feed rabbits and so on.
Right.
And I think the time has come, if I see an opportunity for the farmed fish industry to step up and go, okay, the oceans are getting dirtier. We should have an opportunity to produce a better product because we have a more controlled environment. Let's start changing the way we raise farm fish. The first thing, Let's find ways to give them algae. Let's find ways to feed them little fish. Let's find ways to feed them the same diet that they would eat if they were in the wild, number one. And let's get away from, salmon pellets, and which is soy and grain and all this other crap that salmon don't eat. They don't come out of the ocean to eat wheat. And let's start changing their feeds and give people a better product.
Change their environment. We can duplicate salt water. We can duplicate ocean water. Look at a fish aquarium where if you keep it clean, it's much better than what you would have some of these salmon farms. So they can duplicate the water. You can test it. They can always clean that water out if something gets contaminated. But like you said, they can do it, and I don't see why it's going to cost a whole lot more. But if it does, so what? If it's healthier food for us, let's get away from just trying to mass produce things and, sacrifice the few for the many and get back to making some quality stuff.
I got to have my friend Gary Hirsch on the show. He owns a string of seafood places like the old-fashioned fish markets that your mom and my mom used to go to here in Louisville, and he supplies a lot of the restaurants with their seafood. I got to have him on because I think there's also something else to talk about, and that is, you know how they say, these are cage-free eggs. Well, there's a lot of levels of cage-free, and there's a lot of levels of fish farm. There are some fish farms, like in Alaska, where they actually rope off and pen off areas of the ocean, and they keep them in there. That's got to be better than some guy in Oregon with a 5,000-gallon pool where he's got 6,000 salmon all bumping up against each other, swimming in basically what is puddle water. You know what I mean? It's just stagnant water.
Now, when we come back, I do, just so we don't scare everyone away from sushi, I do have some tips on how to protect yourself from the things we're talking about.
Okay.
So I just want to mention that.
All right, stay tuned. We're going to cover more of this on Science for Humans with Dr. Jeff Galini. We'll be right back. know how to properly use carbohydrates to ignite your performance in the field and in the gym? You will now, thanks to this free book by EFX Sports. The Carb User's Guide for Maximum Performance reveals why omitting carbohydrates from your diet can totally crush your gains. Ever wonder how many grams you need for your specific sport? Not anymore. We give you the critical number you need to dominate your competition. You'll even discover the super carb that's taking the athletic world by storm. You must try it to believe it. Go to getcarbolin.com/carb guide today and get your copy absolutely free. Once again, it's GETKARBOLIN.com/CARBGUIDE. Mitochondrial uncoupling is the holy grail of fat loss. Making mitochondria work harder raises body temperature and metabolic rate without the jitters of stimulants. Now there is an over-the-counter mitochondrial uncoupler that will let you shred your body down to the last pounds of body fat. It's Trojan Horse. This is the supplement breakthrough of the decade. Go to superhumanradio.com and click the Trojan Horse banner ad. Use coupon code SHR and save 20% off your order today. BlackstoneLabs.com. Trojan Horse. AnabolicMinds.com is the premier website for credible information on building muscle, burning fat, supplementation, and more. With over 100,000 active registered members and over 2.5 million posts, it's one of the largest communities on the internet to get help and answers to your questions. It's also the place that the official Superhuman Radio Forum is hosted. Visit AnabolicMinds.com today and get into the action. AnabolicMinds.com. Learn, teach, lead.
A legendary name in hardcore supplementation. Iron Mag Labs. 100% original, patent pending andro compounds. The most effective, hardcore, groundbreaking bodybuilding supplements in the world. Iron Mag Labs. Revolutionizing hardcore supplementation for more than a decade. Visit IronMagLabs.com. IronMagLabs.com.
There are a few products that I believe in the way I believe in Can-C eye drops. I've been using Can-C for 6 months now, and the changes in my vision are nothing short of amazing. Wow, that's an old commercial. The truth is I've been using Can-C eye drops for 11 years now, and I credit Can-C eye drops as being the reason that I do not need reading glasses at 58 years old. Can-C eye drops improves the quality and health of your eyes indefinitely. That's why I both use and endorse Can-C eye drops. Go to wisechoicemedicine.com and learn about how Can-C eye drops can improve the health of your eyes and the quality of your vision today. 4.6 million years of evolution gave us the blueprint for the perfect protein supplement for humans. So why do all protein supplement manufacturers ignore it? We don't. The first human-appropriate protein supplement is Thrive Advanced. Built around the blueprint of mother's milk, Thrive Advanced contains the amino acids, peptides, micronutrients, enzymes, probiotics, and vitamins that support protein absorption and assimilation. All of our dairy proteins come from happy cows on pastures here in the United States and are low-heat pasteurized. You'll never find any artificial sweeteners, additives, or ingredients. You won't even find thickeners or gums in Thrive Advanced. And we back up our label claims with post-production lab analysis that's available right on our website. Visit superhumanradio.com and click the Thrive Advanced banner ad and use code SHR and save 50% off your entire order today. Hey, this is Carl. Start your day just like I do with a high-dose lipospheric vitamin C from Live On Labs. You too can benefit from Live On Labs' lipospheric delivery system. No more pills or powders. That's outdated technology. Live On Labs has the world's most efficient vitamin delivery system, period. Learn a lot more today at liveonlabs.com and benefit from their new reduced pricing. That's liveonlabs.com, Livon labs.com.
You're listening to the Superhuman Channel. Don't hate us because we feel good.
Welcome back to Science for Humans. And this really is science for humans because we're talking about things that people do every single day. I mean, I love sashimi. I can eat 2 pounds of salmon and I don't even feel it in my stomach. I love it. But hey, I mean, I don't want to get sick. So you got to be in the know and make good decisions. Okay, so Dr. J, clearly we have to be more selective when we choose fish, especially raw fish of any kind.
Yeah.
So what can we do?
Here's the first thing. Stay away from those poisonous puffer fish. They're called fugu. Have you heard those things? People are eating those raw.
Yeah.
And here's the crazy thing. These master fugu chefs, sometimes they'll actually include the poison in the dish, which creates this tingling feeling on the lips when you eat it. That's stupid. But every year, people die from eating this fish because they don't know how to cook it, and it's so dangerous. So I say it's not a delicacy, it's a dare. I mean, are you going to die or are you not? So that's ridiculous. Don't spend a whole lot of money maybe to kill yourself. But some of the things for most of us, because we're not going to go eat puffer fish, saltwater fish are less likely to be infected than freshwater fish.
Interesting.
And most of the fish that you see on the sushi bars are saltwater, like albacore, cod, rockfish, eel, flounder, tuna, swordfish. Freshwater, like catfish, trout, sturgeon, they are at a much higher infection rate.
I would never eat catfish. Never, ever, ever. Catfish eat all the other fish's poop. Think about it. They suck the bottom of the ground, and they're
the scavenger, brother.
Yeah, they're disgusting.
People like them fried up. Here's another thing interesting. Maybe this is why they have it, but use wasabi.
Yes.
Because wasabi naturally kills parasites.
Okay, I'm going to tell you something, and I can't prove that I'm right, but the only time, I used to eat so much sushi when I was a young man in Las Vegas. The only time I got sick eating sushi was when I was not drinking sake. You know, the rice alcohol wine. I always drank it because I liked the buzz it gave me, but then I started to think there may be some other protective value to drinking sake with your sushi, and that may be that the alcohol, in an effort to create an aseptic environment, is killing bacteria that you happen to be swallowing along with it.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So, Atlantic Ocean versus Pacific Ocean. The Pacific Ocean is very highly populated, and they say there's more parasites in the Pacific. I don't know, if you can know which fish comes from where, but the other thing is choose tuna. They're actually rarely inspected because they don't normally contain parasites, so the FDA doesn't even require tuna to be flash frozen.
Really?
Yeah, so I don't know. And the reason is tuna are they're fast-moving fish, so they don't sit around where parasites can get on them. They're always constantly moving. And the bigger the tuna, I guess the less chances. But you get more mercury in tuna, but, I guess a little bit of mercury is not too bad. The other thing is, as we were talking about, make sure that it is, if you're going to buy it, when you go to a sushi bar, you got to trust that they're using sashimi grade. But if you're going to buy it, make sure it's sashimi grade, which means that the FDA is requiring them to do the flash freezing and to check for parasites. This one, I don't know how you can do this, but they say ask for young fish, because fish that have been around less time, less chance that they've got parasites. So I guess you can go in and ask how old that fish is.
Yeah, I wonder how you can tell. Look at his teeth. That's funny because Concentori Davison, who listens to the show live, just sent me a link to a newspaper article in Detroit where they're finding fish in the Detroit waters that actually have teeth that look like they belong to humans. Some sort of morphism is going on there. So, yeah, I guess you could look at their teeth and tell how old they are then, right?
Yeah, I guess send me that, man. I'd like to see that. But anyhow, I think, what it comes down to is any foods are a risk. So part of this was just bringing to your attention that sushi isn't safe. You're at the same risk of eating chicken, beef, pork, anything else. You just got to make sure you do a little bit of homework and take some of these things into consideration. I'm going to stick more with tuna myself, and I'm going to make sure that I always use wasabi.
Yeah. So, not to change the subject, but I want to cover something before we pull the plug on this interview, and that is that later today we're talking to a Dr. Kiperos to talk about the role of B vitamins, especially B complex, in stem cell proliferation. Very, very important discussion, because stem cell proliferation means your body can heal itself in times of need. VitaDrive has the best B vitamin complex of any supplement out there, plus other things. So let's just plug VitaDrive for those people who listen to the second hour and go, okay, I need to increase my B vitamin intake.
Yeah, and I've been saying it for quite some time that at any given point in the day, we are deficient in some B vitamin. And B vitamins, as you'll hear, are so important, not only for major things that will be discussed, but for absorption of protein, carbs, fats. Most of our body functions need these. So developing VitaDrive was to give you everything your body needs. And it's in a good enough amount. It's a capsule because most vitamins are water-soluble. You want it all to hit at one time. You never want to use your vitamins in a tablet where it's slow-released because you're just not getting enough in there. And VitaDrive, by the way, Carl, has been updated.
Tell me about it.
Remember your recommendation?
You put methyl B12 in it.
I did, brother.
Oh, now let me show you something about Dr. J. This is why I say, if there's anybody who makes a great supplement out there and adheres to current science, it's Dr. Jeff Galiti. And this is why he deserves your attention and your dollars. If he has a supplement that you're buying from another company, buy it from him. And this is why. So last year, we were talking about VitaDrive, and I said, Dr. J, you really need to update this product and put the methylcobalamin in instead of the cyanocobalamin because methylcobalamin is so much better for the body, so much better. He goes, okay, I'll look into it. Bam. He did it. Now, a lot of other companies would bring him, wait, this product's been selling for decades. Why am I going to fool with it? Just leave it alone. And you did it. And I am so excited.
Yeah, and it just took a little bit of time because we had to get everything to work. It's not just as simple as taking one out and putting other things in. But the thing about it is, the methyl form is like 20 times the cost. I mean, that's why a lot of people don't use the good stuff. But that's what it's about, man. We're always updating things. When we learn new technologies, if we don't incorporate those into the product, then I think we're being deceptive. We aren't using the best of the best. Years ago, I sold regular creatine, but when I learned about crealkaline, that's all I sell.
Right.
So VitaDrive was the same formula since 1985, but it was time for an update. So if you are VitaDrive users, as the new label starts to hit, which is the new Training Ground EFX Sports label, you will see the new updated formula. A couple things that really weren't necessary I took out, and then the methylcobalamin has been updated, B12. So again, I think we took a great product and we actually made it a little bit better.
That is awesome, Dr. J. That is so flippin' awesome. I am so excited about that product because I take it, and I'm going to be taking it with a greater confidence now. Thank you so much. From me, I'm saying thank you.
You're welcome, man. And folks, remember, Carl, you heard it first from Carl, Supplement Santa.
Yeah.
All you got to do is go to superhumanradio.com, look for Ask the Scientist, send me an email if you want to try an EFX sports product, and also go over to Dr. Jeff Galini's Facebook page, like it, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. I have lots of fun. I'm always providing information, research, stories, so I think you'll find it very informative.
Thanks a lot, brother.
All right, take care.
Thanks for the interview and the new VitaDrive.
You're welcome, my brother. I got to get you a bottle out as soon as I get the first one.
Cool.